Hey everybody, Taz from Critical Thinking Anarchist here, and holy God, Alec Baldwin is a bigger POS than I thought, which is saying something, honestly. So, you know, way back when, Alec Baldwin is filming a movie, and as the I, I hate even saying it like this, right? Okay, so as he's filming the scene with a live gun, a real gun, not a prop, not a not a dummy gun, not his hand or whatever. And in fact, I'm sorry, he wasn't filming a scene. He was setting up a shot. So there was zero reason to have a live gun. There's no reason to have a live gun whatsoever. There's no reason to have a working prop gun if that's what he thought it was. Zero reason for it. He could have used his finger. He could have used a block of wood or something. I mean, there should be something, like a plastic gun or a block of wood gun. Something that's like very clearly not real, right? So that when you're setting up a shot or whatever, you're not using something that could potentially harm somebody. Supposedly everybody was on break or whatever, or went to lunch, or who knows, whatever. Now I don't know if he was handed this, if he grabbed it off the prop table, what exactly happened. But so he has this thing, does this, is setting up for the shot, whatever. They're recording just to frame it and whatever else, get the framing right, get the blocking right, and as he states it, he pulled back the trigger and the gun went off. Pulled back the trigger, or pulled back the hammer, not pulled back the trigger, pulled back the hammer, and the gun went off. Now, anyone who knows anything about revolvers knows that you can detonate the primer on a bullet by pulling back the hammer. There's no guarantee that the hammer is going to lock in place, and there's no guarantee, and if the pin hits the primer, that's, if it's got enough force behind it, it's going to set it off and shoot. You're responsible for that. That's something you're responsible for. Alec Baldwin was the top actor as well as a producer on this. He's been in many, 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 many movies that have guns and has handled these guns before. I don't know if he's handled a revolver specifically. I'm assuming it was a revolver because it's supposed to be kind of a Western type of, a Western type. I mean, I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I really paid attention. Anyway, goes to trial. Supposedly there is mishandling of the evidence, whatever else. The judge dismisses the case. So Alec Baldwin does not get held accountable. Now, very important on this, the case was dismissed. He was never found not guilty. As a result, there is a civil trial that is pending from the Elena Hutchins family, who is suing Alec Baldwin for civil damages. And I think that's what this is about. Now, a smart person, I think he's trying to, he's trying to undermine the prosecution against him. And I think he's trying to do it quickly so that it can be used in the civil trial that's going to be going on against him. I think that's what's happening because he wasn't found not guilty. If he was found not guilty, that is a lot of evidence in his favor that he can use in that civil trial. But because he didn't, and granted, I'm not a lawyer, this is just basic stuff. Because of this, I think what he's trying to do is get something on his side. If he can prove that they were negligent, that it was malicious, that it was this, that it was this, that it was this, it kind of gives a de facto not guilty. A judge should throw this out so fast. A judge should throw this out so fast because he was the top actor. He was the producer on the film. He has had extensive experience handling firearms on a movie set. those, I mean, he's had all those things. All those things are facts. Those are all facts. So the fact that while he was in possession of the gun, his negligence directly led to the gun going off and killing Elena Hutchins. You can also scapegoat the prop master. I mean, again, there's a lot of facts we don't know, and because the trial never went on, we don't get any of this. And I know hers kind of did or whatever. But yeah, I mean, this could all be swept under the rug so quick if he would barely have to do a thing. But anyway, so let's go to this particular one here. So nearly 6 months after a New Mexico judge dismissed the actor's involuntary manslaughter trial in connection with the 2021 fatal shooting of Rust cinematographer Helena Hutchins. I keep saying Helena Hutchins. Baldwin's filed civil suit for malicious prosecution and civil rights violations per documents obtained by the Associated Press. Tuesday, January 9th, lawsuit, which was filed at the State District Court in Santa Fe, New Mexico, accuses Special Prosecutor Carrie Morrissey, Santa Fe District Attorney Mary Carmack Altuiz, as well as investigators from the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office and Santa Fe County Board of County Commissioners of attempting to scapegoat Baldwin for the acts and omissions of others, regardless of the evidence for the law. See, still accepting no responsibility of his own. None whatsoever. The lawsuit accuses prosecutors and investigators of targeting Baldwin for professional or political gain. I mean, now that you accused him of that, you have to prove it. You have to prove that that's what they did. It also argues that prosecutors violated his constitutional rights by improperly using the criminal process and were blinded by their desire to convict Alec Baldwin for all the wrong reasons and at any cost. Well, by that statement, there's right reasons to convict him, apparently. I mean, he was holding the gun. The gun fired. The person in front of the gun was killed. Those are all reasons to investigate and attempt to convict him. Those are all, and those are all very, very, very good reasons. I mean, say somehow again, he was not found not guilty. He never got a not guilty verdict. So say somehow you just ignore all that. I mean, say he was found not guilty somehow because of someone else's negligence, which he hasn't been found of. But say you stipulate that. He was still the one holding the gun. He was still the one holding the gun when the gun went off. He was still the one behind the gun when the bullet left the gun and hit somebody else, and that person died as a result of all of that. According to the publication, Baldwin, who is also a producer on Rust, is seeking punitive damages to the fullest extent permitted by law. E! News says blah, blah, blah. Morrissey's office told blah, blah, blah. In October 2023, prosecution team became aware that Mr. Baldwin intended to file a retaliatory civil lawsuit. The statement shared, "We look forward to our day in court." Yeah. I'm sure they do. In a statement to Entertainment Weekly, Baldwin's lawyers, blah, blah, blah. Criminal prosecutions are supposed to be about the search for truth and justice, not to pursue personal or political gain or harass the innocent. Carrie Morrissey and the other defendants violated that basic principle over and over and trampled on Alec Baldwin's rights. We bring this action to hold the defendants accountable for their misconduct and to prevent them from doing this to anyone else. But again, here's the thing. Because their basic thing is they did it for personal or political gain. Well, they have to show that these people had something personal or political to gain, or that they did gain from it. It's been such a short time. There'd been, unless you have like some really incredible evidence there, you can't. I don't see how you can get that. The dismissal came after crime scene technician Marissa Popple testified in court that former Arizona police officer Troy Teskey had given her some ammunition following armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed's trial that he believed was related to the Rust case. Was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter in March 2024 and sentenced to 18 months in prison. And that's a shame. I'm not saying she didn't do wrong. I'm not saying it wasn't her fault, or at least partially her fault. It's just ridiculous that hers was found guilty of that while Alec Baldwin gets to go free. Popple testified that she logged the rounds under a separate case file, but denied claims from Baldwin's defense that she did so to hide it from the defense. Again, you got to prove it. Baldwin's team said they were never informed of the ammunition test he provided, saying in a motion filed on July 11th, state affirmatively concealed evidence potentially pointing to an external source of ammunition because the evidence would be favorable to Baldwin. Baldwin was unaware of a risk that live ammunition had been brought to the set of Rust. Doesn't matter. You had no reason. He still had no reason to hold a live gun on a setup shot. He had no reason to cock the hammer back. You know, and again, the big thing I don't know on that one is, was he given the gun or did he take the gun? Because if he took the gun, then it's 100% his responsibility to verify that it is not a live gun, that there are no live rounds or rounds of any kind in that gun. If he was provided the gun, then it's a, you know, as far as I'm concerned, as a, you know, as a gun owner, you know, as someone who's been through gun safety training, the first thing you do is check the gun to verify that it is clear. Kenny affirmed that he was not responsible for the rounds, testifying at the time that there was never a question in my mind that I provided the live ammunition to Rust. Following dismissal, Baldwin shared an emotional regret. There were too many people who have supported me to think blah, blah, blah. Who cares? But yeah, the only thing, honestly, yeah, that's just junk. So the only thing, honestly, I can think of in this particular case is that he is doing this to, let's get off of the video. He is doing this to try and prop himself up before the civil trial. He wants this to be first and come quick to give him a decision so that he can use it in that trial. One, I think a smart judge would delay this one until after the other trial is going on or concluded. And two, I honestly think a judge should, you know, ahead of that, dismiss this and say, you know, there's no grounds for saying this was malicious. There's no grounds for saying that they had personal gain, political gain. They haven't been appointed to any new offices. They haven't been promoted. Unless you can prove that there was some sort of personal gain, and usually that involves money, unless you can prove that they receive some sort of monetary, you know, supplement, I don't see how you can win that. I don't see how you can even get a grand jury to go in. I don't know if you have a grand jury on civil lawsuits. I don't see how a judge sits there and gives them the time of day. Granted, again, not a legal expert, not a, you know, I'm not into any of that stuff, but it just, God, he's such a, and he, you know, nobody would care. Publicly speaking, people already said their piece. They were done in 6 months to a year. You know, it'd be all done. People would forget about it. If his other trial does go on and whatever, people would be like, oh, that's still going on? I thought that was concluded, you know, a year or two ago. Whatever. And they wouldn't care. But he just can't. He just can't let it go. You know, the dismissal wasn't enough. No. And now he makes himself look worse as a result. I mean, I can't think anybody wants to work with him anymore. And it's by his own actions. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think. You know, do you think Alec Baldwin has a leg to stand on here? Do you think he's got any chance? Do you think I'm wrong completely? You know, let me know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm sorry that it's been so long. I'm gonna try and start making more videos again soon. The busy season has calmed down. and I've got time off coming up here. So hopefully I'll be doing more of these. But in the meantime, see you guys later.